Alright, welcome back everybody. I'm a music nerd here with another tier list video. It's been a long time coming, so I'm going to be doing J. Cole albums, ranking them from best to worst in this tier list video. It's not going to be too long because J. Cole has a few studio albums to talk about, but it should be fun. So if you enjoy this content, do me a favor, show some support. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button down below, and if you're a return subscriber, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new content to get videos like this. Alright, so like I said in my off-season review, I kind of have a checkered history with J. Cole. I kind of feel like he punches under his weight sometimes. He's a very talented rapper. I mean, look at what he has accomplished over the past decade. I mean, he's the only rapper, to my knowledge, to have all of his studio albums go #1, which, is incredible. I mean, that's an amazing feat. Just regardless of what you say about him, you can't deny the man's just success and the way that he comes off, his authenticity when it comes to the rap game. So I applaud him on that. I just wish that sometimes he can make better albums. But let's start with Cold World Sideline Story, which came out in 2011. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years since J. Cole kind of entered. Really, listening back to this album, it sounds so far away from what he is currently. Around this time, you had Drake still coming out very early into the scene with Take Care. And you had Wale and Big Sean coming with their big breakthrough studio albums. So J. Cole was kind of compared, and also Kendrick Lamar. So J. Cole was kind of being compared to those guys, and you can see those rappers bleeding into this album as well. The song Workout just sounds like not Drake-ish, but you can tell that J. Cole was definitely reaching for the radio, and listening to it now, it's just like, wow, I can't believe it's the same person who made that song. Aside from that, the deep cuts here are really strong here. You can definitely sense J. Cole's potential as a rapper. He's not just making songs that are filler, like he's talking about real issues, talking about abortion, talking about crime, coming with his mixtapes, The Warm Up, Friday Night Lights. This album was hugely anticipated, and it really showcased J. Cole's potential as a rapper. I think it's a solid album. Some of it is a little dated, of course, but I think as far as a debut album and announcing yourself to the rap game amongst this competition, I think that he did a great job. So I'm going to put it in the B tier. So the next album, Born Sinner, which came out a couple years later, I remember it debuted on the same day as Jesus, and then also Mac Miller's Watching Movies with the Sound Off. So a lot of people were anticipating, who's going to go #1. Is it going to be Yeezus? Is it going to be Born Sinner? Is it going to be Mac Miller? And Born Sinner debuted at #2, only 30,000 behind Yeezus. So it was a very, very tough competition, and this was kind of reminiscent of like when 50 Cent Kanye went head-to-head. It's similar in Yeezus in this respect, in that J. Cole was kind of going for a more darker sound. The album cover, Born Sinner, so he's talking about religion, talking about the Illuminati, the darker side of fame. And I think it's average. I mean, to me, this album, once again, I think tried to do what Cold World did, but it really tried to be more ambitious, and sometimes it fell short of that ambition at times. There were songs here that I liked. Power Trip, the collaboration with Miguel. Crooked Smile is not too bad with the TLC feature. The Illuminati. I mean, they're okay. And Forbidden Fruit, which has a nice Kendrick Lamar feature. I kind of hoped that Kendrick was gonna rap on it. At the time there was rumors swirling around that Kendrick and J. Cole were gonna do a collaboration album, and that never happened. And I was kind of wishing, okay, is Kendrick gonna do this? But all he says is, "Me and my little bitch took a little trip," and it's like, that's fine, but I want more. The song Let Nas Down, him trying to right his sins of writing a bad pop rap song, telling Nas how much of a fan he was. You know, it's a nice sentiment, but at the end of the day, dude, just make the music you want. You know, people are going to criticize your music. But it was J. Cole trying to write himself with the legends. I think Born Sinner, like I said, it has its trials and tribulations, but I think overall, just wasn't as good as Cold World Sideline Story. So I'm going to put in the C tier. I mean, there's some tracks here that are kind of forgettable to me, to be honest. I kind of wish that J. Cole was kind of going for that more energetic sound, but, you know, instead he took the more laid-back, multifaceted, jazz rappy type of sound. So, next one, Forest Hills Drive. So this is the beginning of Platinum with No Features trend, and J. Cole announced this album like a week before it came out. So no like hit singles, no like anticipation for that. It literally just like he put out a post on social media and it's like, yo, I'm putting out an album. And so this was a ballsy move at the time, especially. Now, this was at the era where surprise albums were kind of new. Beyonce had dropped, you know, her surprise album. D'Angelo released his surprise album. So the trend was still relatively new. This wasn't a surprise album per se, but I think a lot of people expected J. Cole to kind of drop, you know, some singles out. But it paved out well for him. You know, the album still debuted #1. And I think this is when J. Cole finally came into his own. I think it's when a lot of people say, okay, this is the potential that we're finally seeing out of J. Cole. You know, with Cold World and Born Sinner, I would say he was a B+ student. You know, he had potential. But now this is where we see, okay, he could go for A and an A+. As far as track list, I think this is probably from front to back his most solid track list. One or two songs that I'm not too keen on, but yeah, there are a lot of great songs here. Apparently, Get Off My Dick, Wet Dreams, that soul sample that reminds me of College Dropout Kanye with the Chipmunks soul samples, A Tale of Two Cities, '03 Adolescence. I mean, I can go on and on. It's basically like a greatest hits collection. It really, I like J. Cole when he gets personal. You know, I admire him when he's talking on the socio-political and all that stuff. But when he gets personal, I feel that's when he gets in his bag, or when he really like shows you like he's a great rapper. Those are the two modes that I like J. Cole in. And Forest Hills Drive, obviously talking about his childhood and growing up, you know, biracial and trying to assimilate, you know, between two worlds. You know, the street life and then the college life. Songs like A Tale of Two Cities and '03 Adolescence do a great job of tackling those issues. So I like it when he lets us into his world. And, you know, you look at J. Cole and the album cover, you know, being on top of his house. The whole 2014 Forest Hills Drive being the address he grew up on, 2014 being the year that he also released his album. I just think that it's a well done album, and I still go back and listen to it. It's still my favorite J. Cole album. I just think that he just got into a mode where I don't have to put out a hit single. I'm just going to put out a concept album, and I don't even care if it hits the radio. And with that approach, even with that, you know, he still got songs that are being played on the radio for a long period of time. I feel like this was the reincarnation of the J. Cole that we know now. J. Cole, Forest Hills Drive, I'm going to put it in the A tier. Okay, so the next album, For Your Eyes Only, which came out in 2016. And, you know, I was kind of hoping with Forest Hills Drive, the momentum would kind of keep going, but J. Cole switched it up a little bit, got a little more mellow, started being influenced by jazz rap. You can kind of hear a little To Pimp a Butterfly influences here. No, J. Cole fans don't like it when he's been compared to Kendrick Lamar, but it's kind of hard to not hear the influences sometimes with Kendrick and J. Cole. And I gotta be honest, this album didn't really do it for me when it came out. Neighbors, I like the beat on Neighbors. I feel like that was one of the few songs that J. Cole was like really talking about some issues about his white neighbors think he's selling dope. He can't walk around his neighborhood without being profiled. And I feel like you had that energy out of J. Cole in that song. But at the end of the day, you know, this album is really the concept of him talking about his friend, and it was just kind of like, it's not really doing it for me. I appreciate the fact that J. Cole is kind of like talking to his friend's daughter about how great a friend he was, but at the end of the day, I don't know who J. Cole's friend is. I want to hear what J. Cole thinks. And so the concept of this album just kind of went, not over my head, but it just like, at times I wasn't really into it. And then of course, J. Cole's bars here, they're not the best. We all know about the almond milk bar, folding clothes. That's gonna be a song that is gonna hurt J. Cole for a little bit. Gladly, he's kind of like been self-aware and he's kind of like made fun of it. But yeah, I wouldn't be lying if at the time I was like, what are you doing, J. Cole? Why are you like so happy about almond milk and filling your girl's laundry? Like, come on, what are you doing? The thing is, J. Cole, the singles that came out before this, like False Prophets, he was kind of subbing Kanye. Those teaser singles I thought were great and I thought would have been great on the album. I wish the album was more like that, and it wasn't. And I was very disappointed. Aside from a couple of singles, this album doesn't really do it for me. I'm not going to put in the D tier, but I'm going to put in the C minus. KOD, which came out in 2018. So J. Cole kind of switching up a bit, embracing the SoundCloud rap, the trap sound that was dominating the radio at that time by the Little Pumps, the Little Babies, all the littles. And J. Cole kind of felt a way about that. So, you hear KOD, whether it's kids off of drugs, I don't know, king of all drugs, I don't even know. Once again, just like, okay, so I'm hearing, okay, this is going to be a concept about, the youth being influenced by Molly and all that stuff. And the first song, he's talking about going platinum with no features, and I don't need rappers on my albums, and like I make this money, and you're out. And it's just like, what are we doing here? You're not really paying attention to the concept. J. Cole, once again, his intentions were good. He was talking about stuff that was going on in the black community, talking about taxes, stuff that needs to be said, talking about the drug kind of coding issues that's plaguing the youth. Once again, stuff that needs to be said. But when you're talking about those issues, you can't talk about, I'm going platinum with no features, and, I kind of understand what these little rappers are saying, and, these little rappers should stop spending their money and start with the money phones, and it's just like, what are you trying to go for here, J. Cole? I don't understand. And then you had the whole Kill Edward thing, which is just like, being the feature and pitching his voice. I feel with this album, J. Cole is kind of all over the place. There's some good songs here. ATM is a great banger. Even KOD, the title track, is not too bad. Window Pane, I thought was another great album. The Fall Off, great closing track. Even though some people thought it was controversial because they thought that he was making fun of the little rappers, the Lil Yachty's, the Lil Pumps, when in fact he was just basically just giving them advice of how to survive in the rap game. And of course, after this, he did like an interview with Lil Pump, and which was very awkward. But they have songs like Kevin's Heart and Photograph, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, I don't need a 3-minute song talking to you about going to Instagram, and I don't know if I should like this girl's picture. It's just like, yeah, this album is kind of all over the place. I feel like J. Cole had the pressure of trying to be that socially conscious rapper, but it just didn't really work for me. So I'm gonna put it in the C tier. I liked it when it came out, but as time went on, I listened to it less and less. Now we come to his most recent album, The Off Season. 3 years was a long time. A lot had happened in J. Cole's life. The Middle Child single, which came out, very successful. But I think J. Cole went on a great feature run, and it really showed that J. Cole was, I don't know what happened. I don't know who pissed off J. Cole, but he started rapping like Friday Night Lights, like J. Cole, like warm up J. Cole. Like, he was getting on his rap shit, killing these features. And then the lead up singles that came up to this album was Decline Back, Interlude, showcased that, okay, J. Cole is shooting some different production, being braggadocious, showcasing why he's one of the best rappers alive. Which, if you look at J. Cole's resume, I mean, yeah, he should be a little braggadocious. Yes, it's another concept album, but I feel like J. Cole was kind of like, you know what, I just want to rap. And I just want to showcase why I love being a rapper. And I think it shows through this album. I think he had a, it sounds like he had a blast making this album. And of course, the whole basketball theme tying back to the Friday Night Lights warm up, him being an athlete, him going to Africa and playing basketball, the album cover with the basketball hoop on fire. I just thought that the whole concept of it was dope, having like Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, John Morant kind of references spliced throughout the album. So he did follow the concept, but he mostly was just talking about comparing himself to being a basketball player, working on the offseason, being a better rapper, knowing that he's been 10 years into the game. I don't want to be irrelevant. And so him talking about that. But I felt what I also got with J. Cole on this album is that he was getting personal again, talking about songs like Let Go of My Hand, Close, talking about his friend dying and how he felt about that, just talking about him being a dad and how to raise a black son, and just talking about being paranoid and just I just felt that J. Cole held this album with ease. There's not a bad song here. Songs like My Life, Applying Pressure, Punching the Clock showcase why J. Cole is one of the best in the game. And look, he has features, not the features that I expected, but him and 21 Savage have a great partnership. 21 Savage had a great verse as well, and I thought Lil Baby, who I've warmed up to recently, had a great feature here as well. Even though Pride is the Devil wasn't a song that I was in love with, was one of the more popular songs that you kind of hear on the radio. But like I said, if that's the worst song in this album, I think he did a pretty damn good job. So I really love The Offseason, man. I still listen to it often, and I think J. Cole should be proud that he had a return to form album. So I'm going to put it in the A tier. I think this is his best album since Forest Hills Drive. And I think if this is like his next album, is like his last album, which is going to be like the fall of, I hope that he continues on this trend and, wraps up a great career. So yeah, that's my tier list of J. Cole albums. Tell me what you think on the comment section below. What are your least favorite J. Cole albums and songs? I love to hear from it. YouTube has these 2 other videos, so check out this one. Love you guys. Peace.